welcome to our latest lunch and learn here for the next 45 minutes or so. And I thank you for want to share this. I think this is a really important topic, and our lunch and learns are really topics that transpire through the course of our business and the things that happen over the last couple of months and things that concern us that we thought this is something that we really ought to put out there on the internet. Something we ought to share because I think this is something that's actually very, very important in how it can impact human performance. So the topic, and I'll share my screen here with you. Let me get this, share the screen. Here's the topic for today. Let us not forget that a pretty looking dynamic procedure, and I know that's kind of a new buzzword that used to be like digital procedures or digitalized procedures, and then you'll see many cases where they're called dynamic procedures. Let us not forget that a pretty looking dynamic procedure with bad content is still a bad procedure. One of the hottest topics in procedure writing today is about going dynamic. Okay. Now, while keeping up with these advances, I think is really going to be essential and really unavoidable. A dynamic procedure cannot improve the quality and consistency of work execution if the content contains significant challenges to human performance. It's still a lot about the content, right? Now, for this lunch and learn, we're going to focus on how digital advances make procedures and work instructions smarter. Still, if the content is lacking, the result may be a better connected looking poor procedure. Now, why should we care? Ultimately, when we develop procedures, and this is getting into the digital piece here in just a second. Ultimately, when we develop procedures, our goal should be is to manage knowledge-based performance. You're not going to get rid of it, nor would we want to. We're not going to carry an encyclopedia out in the field to perform work that won't be used any more than a bad procedure would be. And so ultimately what we're going to try to do is manage knowledge-based performance. So now how does this all tie into dynamic procedures or the digitalization of procedures? How does it all tie together? So now here are just a couple excerpts I took from a couple of the vendors that I saw recently at a conference, and I kept the names off of it. This was all public information because it comes right from their website, right? But just what are we talking about? Dynamic procedures or dynamic instructions. So let's look at the first one. So this one vendor says dynamic instructions act as detailed directions in a GPS system. It digitalizes and provides computer guidance at a step level for the flow of work instructions while integrating contextual and transactional information. Wow, a lot of info there, right? Really what they're trying to talk about is imagine having a procedure that, unlike the old paper-based reading and step-by-step, that now you have one on an iPad and maybe in a protected cover, and now that document is connected, right? Maybe it's connected with Wi-Fi, and now when you need a reference, you can click on the link. There's videos. I mean, just imagine it's tied to work control processes. Matter of fact, they demonstrated pieces to where you could have one of your staff in the field performing steps, and you could sit in the office and you could tell exactly what step they were there at in the field. Think about the efficiency gains with that, especially if you're into outage management, where, I remember being back in the outage times when we used to have people that had outage positions and all they did was walk around the plant checking on the status of where people were so that they could go ahead and turn that status over between night shift and day shift. And there was 20 people that did nothing but walk around in the field checking on status of stuff, right? Now imagine being able to flip on your computer and know exactly what, matter of fact, let's say they recorded some data and engineering is interested in what the wearing ring clearances were and whether or not they're going to need to get spare parts for that. You could see it on the screen right there from your office to be able to do that, right? Another vendor talks about their e-document computer-based procedure dynamic instruction solution. It fully enables the end-to-end procedure lifecycle management integrate seamlessly with our eWork and e-knowledge solutions, as well as plant monitoring systems. Additionally, the e-document can serve as an organization's electronic document management system, right? Another one over here had problems. The smart procedure solves. It solves inconsistencies between procedures, paper paradigms, human error traps, diversity, user diversity levels, excessive time formatting, blah, and on and on and on and on, right? And so, as you can see, there's a lot of hope and a lot of improvements going down the road as it gets into the better connectivity of procedures and that maybe the ease of and use of enhancing the procedures and writing them and all that different pieces that come along with it. But the question is, can your existing procedure format, its structure? Now we're talking about your existing documents. Can the content challenge the result or the process of moving to a dynamic procedure? Project duration, quality, cost. So let's look at some of the considerations for that. Document conversion. Ideally, what's going to happen is for those dynamic things to work, you're going to have to move your content into their tool, right? You're going to have to make a conversion with it, right? In many cases, for the new tools to work, you must move your existing procedure content into the new tools environment, right? I think that makes sense. They're big database-driven products, and so you're going to have to get the content into the database, right? Now, the conversion process will not fix all of the existing level detail content gaps without some type of manual intervention. See, my problem is that since we focus on the content of documents and providing content solutions to our customers, right? There are customers that I've already seen that have made great leaps into a more dynamic procedures, whether they built their own homegrown version of it, or they've gone ahead and they've partnered with one of these vendors. And the problem is that there's a somewhat of I mean, the feeling I get is there's a certain false sense of, or maybe a little bit of a letdown in some ways, because the management team is sold that this is the solution to our procedure problems. Look at all the great things we can connect to. We can see online real time what step we're at. People have greater access to connected documents like drawings and prints where you can click on it and expand it. You can do all the things, like it's all internet based, I'll be able to do that. But the challenge gets to be is that all of a sudden they go ahead and they spend a ton of money on all this stuff and all the development and labor hours and things that go into it. And then they look at the performance, and the performance isn't any better. They still get human performance problems. They still got procedure mistakes going on. And then you look back and say, wait a minute, how is this possible? We got the latest technology here, and we're still seeing mistakes from people, right? So we have seen worldwide leading energy companies realize that after the fact, mind you, that the new tools did not fix their end user human performance problems, because bad data is just bad data in a new tool. In conclusion, right, dynamic procedures will be a significant improvement in the development and use of procedures and the connectivity to other work management systems. If your procedure content contains significant human performance challenges, be careful, as this problem could be exacerbated by the improvements in the technology. It's all about the change management or the lack of it. Be aware of the hidden costs and the potential of the tools not living up to the advances that they're capable of producing, because your content is holding the magnitude of the potential back.